My name is Karen Levad, and I will tell you, I am a grateful member of this blessed community. A year ago, I was invited to give the Sunday reflection with the instructions that perhaps I could mention something about nuclear disarmament, given I was speaking in early August when we would be commemorating the 1945 atomic bombing of the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I accepted the invitation with trepidation. The fear had nothing to do with speaking in front of this group. The fear came because I knew I would need to tell you the story about the ribbon. Telling the story of the ribbon came with a price. Telling the story was only the first step. Somewhat like Peter choosing to swing one leg and then the other over the edge of the boat. Not only would I need to tell the story, I would need to be willing to take a step and then another step and another. Telling the story of the ribbon would be an act of faith and commitment. The stories we've heard from Matthew these last 2 weeks are timely and needed. Last Sunday, Jesus calmly and confidently assured his followers that what was needed was available, and it was. It is reassuring to be reminded of the abundance available if we have eyes to see. This week, I identify with those poor souls cowering in that boat on a stormy lake, buffeted by harsh and heavy headwinds. Boy, does that ever sound like 2020? In how many directions has our boat been tossed? And how often have we feared the possibility of drowning as wave after wave of tragic news has headed our way? What a relief it was and is to hear Jesus's voice call out, "Take heart, do not be afraid." Dear Peter, trusting, not trusting, believing, not believing, overcomes his fear and his doubt. And Jesus, bless Jesus, he reaches out and catches his friend. Why did you doubt? The story of the ribbon begins with my friend Justine Merritt, who decided in the midst of the Cold War in 1983 that it was time to take bold action to protest the increased possibility that nuclear weapons would begin to be used by either the United States or Russia. In 1985 would mark the 40th anniversary of the bombing. There was plenty of time to develop a way to wrap a symbol of war with a symbol of peace, the ribbon. The ribbon would be made of panels of fabric 36 inches wide by 18 inches tall, conveying the message, what I fear will be lost forever in a nuclear war. The complete ribbon ultimately stretched over 18 miles and contained 27,000 individual panels coming from all 50 states and many foreign countries. This week, we observe the 75th anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Unfortunately, we are under even greater threat now of a nuclear disaster than we were in 1985. The UN warns that the use of nuclear weapons, either intentionally, by accident, or by miscalculation, is one of the greatest threats to international peace and security. Justine Merritt, ever the prophet, saw herself as a seed planter relishing the opportunity to cast out inspired thoughts, certain that those seeds would bear fruit. After the bombing of the Twin Towers in 2011, she posted the hope that perhaps a new ribbon could be created, one that in peace and understanding would connect the World Trade Center site, United Nations, and a Muslim shrine. It's an interesting idea, which is why I was so fearful about telling you, this blessed community, a recognized group of doers, about the possibility of maybe, perhaps, maybe we could begin to make a new ribbon of our own. I am so grateful. Oh, I'll get teary here. I am grateful. I am so grateful for the doers who joined me in growing the Ribbon Minnesota. For Pepper Wolf, Joan Whitman, Pat Heelan, Sally Summers, Paul Summers, Mary Sutherland, Mary Antonio Wilmes, Rochelle Kohler, and a lone Lutheran, Lucy Sealand, who make up the planning group for this adventure. I am grateful also for those who joined us in making over 40 beautiful works of art and heart. We were a strong and silent presence at the commemoration events that took place on August 6th at the Peace Garden at Lindale Park, and yesterday at the Labyrinth in Como Park. You could look around the whole circle, and there was a flock of us there with our blue t-shirts on, and it was a sight to behold. And the same is true on Thursday as well. And so thank you for every one of you who came and were a part of this event. The Ribbon 2020 is a humble effort. We are a part of a very small but determined group working here and in the Washington, D.C., Baltimore areas in collaboration with Pax Christi USA to continue to grow the ribbon. Our efforts have definitely been impacted by COVID-19, limiting our ability to gather folks to inspire them to make a ribbon panel. We were fortunate here to be able to gather in live events, mindful of social distancing. But most of my friends throughout the United States, most of the other ribbon makers participated in Zoom meetings in New York and Washington, D.C. What we know is our work won't be done until we are successful in eliminating all nuclear weapons. So if you've made a ribbon panel, keep it, and then show up next year at the 76th observance of the bombings. After yesterday's event, someone asked me where else the ribbons might be seen. I don't know. But we need to think about and pray about where and how these beautiful symbols of peace can be shared. If you haven't yet made a ribbon panel, then get busy. We need more. It may be, as time and safety allow, we will find other opportunities to be peaceful sentinels as we call for the end of nuclear proliferation. Our work isn't done.